I have just received a letter saying that my great uncle has just died. I have never met him and honestly, I didn't even know he existed. It said that he left his will to me? I don't know why. Did he know me? He is leaving me 1 million, his mansion, and his horses. My great uncle was rich. It says I have to do everything on the list. What list? Just as I say that, a piece of paper falls out of the envelope. I pick it up and read it. At the top it says, the list, if you want the inheritance. I read the list, wanting to get the money. It reads, you have to go skydiving, go hot air ballooning, ride a motorcycle, get a pet, if you already have a pet, get another one, visit the Wall of China, go shark cage diving, see the northern lights, go zip lining, and go to the Olympics. How am I going to do that? Never in a million years I would do any of those things. Well, get a pet. I really want that stuff, so I better start. Let's start with getting a pet. I've wanted a dog for a long time, so let's go to the animal shelter. I found the perfect one. Her name is Everest. She is a husky and I've always wanted a husky. I took her home with everything she needed: food, toys, and a bed. I crossed that off the list. Now, time for something else. It's pretty late, so I'm going to go to bed. I wake up the next morning, ready to go on an adventure. Okay, I'm going to do everything that I can do here before I do the things that require leaving my country. So, skydiving? Oh, but I'm scared. I can't be scared if I want that money. I look at places you can go skydiving, and there is one 10 minutes away from my house. It also says that you can hot air balloon there. So, I can knock out 2 things while I'm there. I drove over there, scared but excited to go skydiving and hot air ballooning. I say to a worker, I am going to be skydiving and hot air ballooning today. First, I am going to hot air balloon. He brings me to a hot air balloon and gets me ready. I get in and say, thank you. I get scared while I am going up, but by the time I am really high, I look down and see how beautiful it is. I sigh in awe. After 20 minutes, I went back down, now, ready to go skydiving. The worker asks me, did you have a good trip? I reply, yes, I did. It was wonderful. He brings me to the place to go skydiving and tells me to put on a suit, special, only for skydiving. He tells me to get in the plane. I get on and get scared the higher we get. They tell me that it is time to jump. I jump and I am scared for the first few seconds, but then I look around and see how beautiful it is. I get on the ground and excited that I finished that. I go back home and realize that I could go ziplining today, so I cross off hot air ballooning and skydiving. I give Everest her food, pat her head, and run out the door. I come back home exhausted from ziplining. I cross it off the list and have 6 things left. I can do 2 more things and then I have to travel, ride a motorcycle, and go to the Olympics. It's a few days until the Olympics, so it's just perfect. Tomorrow, I will ride a motorcycle, and I already have tickets to go to the Olympics. I go to sleep, waiting for the next day to begin. I wake up, scared to ride a motorcycle. What if I get hurt? What if I die? I look on my computer for motorcycles for rent. I find one and get ready. I go and get on the motorcycle. I read a book on motorcycles before I came, so I think I'm good. I start it up and ride it. I scream, whoa, excitedly. I get off and sigh. That was crazy. I go back home, cross that off the list, and play with Everest. I play with her until it's late and we go to bed, both very tired. I wait a couple days until the Olympics. The day finally came and I went. It was one of my favorite days. I cross it off the list. Now, it's time to travel. I wait a week or 2 and book tickets to go to China. I go and spend a few days there before I go to the wall. I went there and it was a magical experience. I crossed it off the list and booked my tickets to Alaska to see the northern lights. I pack because my flight is tomorrow. I finish packing and go to sleep. I get all of my bags ready and drive to the airport. I get on my flight and think about the northern lights. I've always wanted to see them. While I'm on the plane, I research the best places in Alaska. To see it, and the place I am going is the best place. I finally get there and go to the lights. They are beautiful. I get back to my car and search up shark cage diving. It looks like I'm going to San Diego, California. I book my flight and cross off see the northern lights. I yell, "Here I come, California." I get on my flight to California. While on the plane, I think about the sharks. Sharks. I really don't like sharks. I don't know if I can do it. I start breathing heavily. Ding. Okay, passengers, we are in California, get ready for the landing. Goes the intercom. I sigh, I'm glad that happened. It put me out of that terrible thought. I whisper, "Thanks, intercom." The guy beside me asked, "What?" I said, "Nothing," nervous that I had got caught. I laughed awkwardly. We land and I get ready to go out of the plane. We get out and then I think, I am going to have sharks a little closer than I would like them. I try to brush it off and go to the beach. I'll spend a little bit there before I go see the sharks. I get to the beach and try to relax before I have to go see those sharks. It's 2:47 and I said I would get there at about 3 o'clock, so I better get going. I meet someone who is going to be in the cage with me. "Are you going diving too?" I ask. "Yeah, I've always wanted to do this." She yells excitedly. Her name is Amelia, brunette, tan, looks like she spends most of her time at the beach. We get in the tank. She gets a little more nervous when she sees the sharks. Me, on the other hand, is less nervous. The sharks start biting on the cage. We both yelp and jump into each other's arms. I say to her, "I think it's time to get out now." "No way. This is way too fun," she says back. We stay for at least 10 more minutes. "Okay, now can we get out?" I ask. "Fine," she says. When we get out, she yells, "Whoa, that was so much fun." "Yeah," I chuckle. I run to my bag and crossed off, "Go shark cage diving." Amelia comes up to me and says, "Two things, what is that? And do you want to grab a drink or something?" I reply, "I could go for a drink," and it's a long story. While we are getting a drink, I tell her about the list, crazy story. She says, "Well, where do you live?" I ask. She always looked familiar. "I live in Colorado," she says. "I do too, I think you are my neighbor." I exclaim. "Cool," she replies. I fly back home. Read the list again and see what to do once you finish all of the things on the list. It says to call this number and ask for Samuel. So I did, and it asked me for my name, address, mostly personal stuff. The next day, I went to check my mail, and there was $1 million inside. There was a note that said to go to this address and my mansion and horses would be there. I went and sure enough it was there. Everything is perfect. I have a best friend, a mansion, horses, a dog, did a bunch of crazy things, and $1 million. Everything I could have ever dreamed of.